Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrasslin for Life Network. We got a special show for you tonight as we set up a highly anticipated weekend in wrestling. It's going to be a good one here at the channel. It's going to be a good one for the wrestling fans out there. And we're going to give you our predictions, our preview, and we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling. But me and these two pretty faces going to go through Hard to Kill and Battle in the Valley, plus talk a little bit of the IWC fun stuff for the last couple days. It's going to be a good one, folks. Make sure you strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Let's go. Ding, 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 folks. We are live and back at it again. Like I said, we are the Wrasslin for Life Network, and this is another live stream. Welcome to those who are already here. We're looking forward to getting into all of this tonight. We're going to run through two stacked cards with the return of TNA Hard to Kill. And I mean, TNA is back, boys. It's going to be a fun one. We'll see what this means. Lots of hype, lots of buzz, as we were just talking about before we went live. Plus, we get New Japan, Battle in the Valley, also stacked, a lot of familiar names. But before we get into all that, I will remind you who we are. I am Mr. Every Night, KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, and that is Big Nick.
I didn't know I was going to be doing the Road Dog, but
I know what you're going to
do. Hi, Anthony. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
The chapeau that runs the show, Mr. Anthony, Mr. Big Nick, not swinging his Road Dog tonight, so that's all good. That's
pause on that already. Starting out here.
But gentlemen, I guess the first question out of the gate tonight is, we got a big weekend. I know, Anthony, we'll start there. Anthony, you are jazzed for this pay-per-view.
I don't think I can stop talking about Hard to Kill. Like, if you follow me on TikTok, it's been nonstop every day. Something about Hard to Kill. I'm excited for it. Whatever that Scott D'Amore has planned for Hard to Kill, I don't even know what to predict. I don't even know who to choose to win. I just know he has something big. There's big signees. There's just the titles are beautiful. Hard to Kill is where it's at. If you're not watching Hard to Kill on Saturday, I feel bad for you.
What about you, Big Nick?
Yeah, no, I second everything that Anthony just said there, and especially with it being the reintroduction of TNA, they're coming out of the gate swinging. I think we've all kind of jokingly said it at one time or another. They are pretty much the second biggest promotion now in the U.S., and they're going to try and very much go for that crown, I think, now that they're back as TNA.
It definitely feels like that. Definitely feels like there's a good amount of momentum, and we will talk about it. Before we get into the predictions and rumors of this weekend, we're going to look a little back into the last couple days because I haven't seen my two wrestling buddies, definitely been an interesting couple days out in the IWC. Definitely a big night last night for Dynamite. But here's the thing with AEW right now is a lot of the buzz is not good. A lot of it, even faithfuls, even guys who go live every show with an AEW hoodie on, are finding reasons to yell at Tony Khan right now. And I would say TNA has done the complete opposite, where everybody's talking good things. Everyone's loving what Scott D'Amore is becoming like the everyone's favorite little cherub with the little fucking bow and wings, just offering all the goodness. So definitely rolling for TNA right now.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't really know what's happening, and I see Keyshawn's comment down here. Got to hear my thoughts about TK's rant. I don't really know what's going on with AEW. I like Tony Khan, and I like the things that he has set in place in professional wrestling. His tweets were funny. The replies back with Eric Bischoff were funny. Getting Hook involved in Jinder Mahal, all of that was funny. I think my biggest issue is, like, you're the president, you're the owner of this company. You should keep your feelings reserved. That's my only concern. Like, I think if you're a head of a company, your feelings shouldn't be made public. but I think everything he said was funny.
Yeah, people were talking about anger, and Nick, I know you and I talked about it. We weren't angry. We were laughing.
Who was mad? No one was mad. No, Tony was the only one mad. And people say Tony can't make stars. AW can't make stars. They made Jinder Mahal the biggest star in the IWC.
They did
over the past couple of days. The modern day Maharaja is running wild on Twitter. Did you see he even kind of acknowledged it on the bump there?
Yeah, no, he did. And there's content creators out there putting up like Jinder Mahal like highlight reels and shit more about Jinder than I've seen in all the years I've been doing this. It's crazy.
And I wouldn't even put it past WWE to be like, hey, let's just give Jinder Mahal the belt for like a week or something, just to say, you know, congratulations for doing that to Tony Khan. Right. I mean, fans that didn't even like Jinder Mahal are now Jinder Mahal fans just from that one tweet. So
yeah, galvanizing for sure. Now, here's the dilemma Tony's running into is he's spouting off on Twitter. Some people thought he was upset that maybe he didn't sign Sasha Banks. People were surmising that maybe he was just upset that his Jags didn't make the playoffs and he was sitting at home not having the best of weekends and decided to pop off at the WWE, or, you know, you got poked a little. But the thing for me right now is 2 episodes into 2024, 2 swings, 2 misses, 2 not so good shows. The ratings are 801 last week, 798 this week, or 791 this week, something like that. Not looking very pretty to start 2024 for Tony Khan, taking more heat than wins right now.
I was singing Buddhist in my mind. Were you singing Buddhist in my mind?
I don't know if both of you saw that, but they played his music over the entire segment to drown out the crowd.
I did not notice that.
He comes running out, and yeah, like they're setting up the street fight for Battle of the Belts, which to me, I asked the fans last night, what is more outrageous? Jinder Mahal fighting Seth Rollins for a title, or Jericho and Sammy Guevara getting a tag title shot? That to me is a little more outrageous. And they literally played the Judas the entire time that everybody was fighting to drown out the crowd. It blows my mind, but it was very methodical.
I think what people don't realize with WWE a lot of the times is they like to give stars, some of their wrestlers, a moment in the spotlight when they have a good moment previously. So just using Natalya as an example, a couple of months ago, she got that NXT title shot. She only got that NXT women's title shot because she did back-to-back matches when they were, I don't know where they were, but they were not here in the United States.
Yeah.
And she did back-to-back matches. I believe Jinder got this title shot because of how much he held his own against one of the greatest of all time, The Rock, on the Monday Night Raw previously. So they're giving him this opportunity, you know, to go after the world title. Does he win it? In my mind, 99%, no. But I think WWE gives their stars shots just because of how they've treated the company in the past. That's what I think.
No, I agree with that. I was going to just going back to when we were talking about the issues with AEW as of recently, and I'll talk about it, I guess, from the other side of the Jericho match and why it's so weird that they haven't said anything about it, but their silence and their actions, like we were just talking about them playing his song the entire time, has become very almost damning in a sense of we still know nothing, but being this silent about it and avoiding and just shutting it down immediately is kind of a little telling to me.
It's very interesting that they haven't addressed it directly, but you think then, okay, maybe back him off, maybe not put him in the spotlight, maybe not give Jericho a title shot and just let the dust settle a little bit instead of having to do like, you know, play the music over his match or his spot on the show, or do a pre-taped street fight to avoid, you know, what the potential reaction of the crowd's going to be. And that's your crowd. That's people that bought tickets to your show, not happy with that particular gentleman. Very interesting, where Tony's kind of giving me that Vince McMahon vibes of, I don't care what the crowd does. We're doing what I want to do.
Yeah, but if Tony had sat there and even at that media scrum, sat there and just shut it down instead of, nope, never happened. We're not going to talk like that's done. Everything with that, instead of we have the safest place, safe, and just left this open door for this discussion to still talk and for this to still be such a topic of discussion. is now just, like I've said before, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's death by Tony on Twitter. It's death by dirt sheet rumors coming out about Chris Jericho that you don't just shut down. It's this little thing, that little thing that'll just chip away constantly at AEW.
And it doesn't really matter how safe you think your company is. Things like this could still happen regardless. So preaching safety is not always the best thing.
The irony of the man who feared for his life a pay-per-view or two ago, saying that they have the safest place ever.
Well, and then you watch last night's show and you watch Sting come off the platform there, and you're like, oh,
right.
He's 62. What are we doing? But Anthony's hat greater than AEW. One of my favorite comments. So welcome back, MPB. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we do have the super chat and the super stickers. We might not click on the chat as much as we normally do during a live stream tonight. We will do our best. One last thing I want to touch upon, and then we'll get to all the fun and positivity. But it is a good point right now, you know, the comparables with some of the companies. You know, there's a lot of good buzz in the IWC, and it just feels like the other one company needs to kind of pull their socks up and correct a little bit. We hope that the beginning of 2024 was going to be a course correct, a reset, and we're not quite there yet. It doesn't feel like it. Everybody talking about the Young Bucks going to take on Sting, and then we saw some reports coming out today to try and defend it. But man, across the board, I saw TikTokers, Twitters, I saw people on Instagram, I saw podcasters. No, not many were feeling Young Bucks being Sting's retirement match.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it very nicely. I'm glad I did not buy tickets to AEW Revolution because I wanted to.
Yep.
And that was strictly to see Sting's last match. So if that's the case, I'm glad I'm gonna stick at home and watch it on pay-per-view.
Right. What do you think, bud?
Well, my whole thing with this is people can't differentiate between not liking the idea of this match and you just don't like Sting. Like, no, we can still love Sting and still respect him for everything that he is. And I get that this is what he wanted. Well, it's still kind of shit. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the thing is, honestly, can we all just admit that Sting's retirement run has been a letdown, has not felt as pristine, as fitting an icon as Sting.
What do you mean? The Work Horseman wasn't something that you were digging?
No, not him out there with the Sex Pest, not him getting caught up in the Ric Flair controversy, and then, like I said, having to be out there with the Chris Jericho controversy. His last match in New York is going to be known for Chris Jericho getting booed than it is for it being Sting's last match in New York.
Yeah,
this whole thing's been a disservice to Sting. So that's why this feels like the ultimate letdown. It's just like, fuck, maybe we could at least get something. Maybe we get the Hardy Boys at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I said it last night while I was covering it live, where when Tony Schiavone rolled in the ring and said, you know, asked Sting straight out, who is going to be your last opponent? I was a little surprised because I thought they would build like an angle to it that generally when someone's retiring, you're using that to kind of pole vault whoever retires the guy. You know, and we've seen it work in varying degrees, but I thought there would be an angle that would build to the match, and then it would be like this epic, like Sting's final farewell, but he still wants to win the match. It's like that Rocky Balboa kind of vibe. And if it was who we all thought, I mean, I believe a lot of people thought it would be Darby, and it was a chance for, you know, to kind of push Darby along. And then you build from that in the absence of Sting as he moves on. I don't know that anything would come from that by announcing that the Young Bucks are going to fight him in March. What does that help? Where does that go? Like, I heard some people say it's going to be an epic match. I really don't think it is, to be honest.
The reason why I see some people think that it works is because I guess supposedly Sting doesn't want to do tag or singles matches anymore, and I saw it was Meltzer actually. So again, take it with what you will. I'm sure this is instantly discreditable, but about how pretty much the Young Bucks are just known for putting so many tag teams over. I don't know where the fuck that narrative came from, but that's what a lot of people are running with of how this match is going to work when that team's historically known for not putting people over.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, on top of that, it's angry EVPs that just kind of left and took some time off and took their ball and went home for a little bit. And now Matt's wife's been fired, this and that. Now they come back with their badasses with the weird creepo pedo mustache and everything. And instantly go right into a top of the card historic match with Sting's last match.
Is
it earned, right? You talk about Jinder Mahal earning a title shot. Is this position earned, right?
Right. I don't know. I think I know Sting had a say in his, days of his last match, but I don't think this is it. That's just
sorry, Anthony. It was just that excuse drove me nuts today, because it was like your quarterback comes to the coach and says, "I'm going to be a wide receiver today," and they're like, "Well, you're the star. Go ahead." Like, to me, you got to do what's best for your company. I know it's Sting, you want to honor him, but it's still all got to fit together, right? Like,
I think, and I'm probably gonna say a bold prediction. I think Sting's last match in WWE was against Seth Rollins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I feel like that match is going to be his actual retirement match, and it's going to be better than what we see at Revolution.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad statement at all. I mean, like you talked about, KJ, we thought this could have been Darby. I saw even Goldberg was trying to throw his hat in there, and honestly, I would have taken it versus the goddamn Young Bucks. But yeah, if Tom Brady's not going to go out there and say, I'm going to be lining up at fucking fullback here in my last season.
Mm-hmm.
No, sometimes you just have to admit, I get it's your last run, but your story's kind of shit. Maybe let's do something a little bit better.
Right.
No, I agree with that. The last thing I'll touch on, and then we will get into the good stuff. But a lot of this story came out because I know it came from, Cornette and Brian last touched on it, and then people went researching. But the story that MVP knocked Jericho out. Now, I remember 2 years ago, right around the time this channel started, that MVP and Jericho got in a screaming match in the lobby of a hotel, and it made news. What it stemmed back to was apparently they got in a fist fight, and MVP knocked the man out. So, just a funny story that just seemed to people drug up out of left field. Like, all right, Chris, you want to run your mouth? We're gonna go dig up all your skeletons.
Hey, exactly, and that's the thing with Chris. That's the same thing with Tony. Is if you want to, open your mouth and insert foot and just interject yourself into a situation no one was asking you to be involved and you weren't involved to begin with, you're gonna get some fucking dirt dug up on you just because, you know what? Fuck you for sticking your nose in here. Fuck off.
But all right. Enough of that stuff. I just wanted, like I said, I hadn't talked to my wrestling buddies in a couple days, so I wanted to see what
Mama said knock you out. I wouldn't want hands with MVP. He's actually been about that 100%. That man, I'm right now still probably good 20 years younger than man. I don't want them hands.
He ain't playing around. So no, it's definitely, it must be hard getting knocked out on your own cruise. You have nowhere to go. You're stuck on the boat. And it's yours. You're hosting.
Like, where are you gonna go after this? Where are you gonna go?
Chris, wake up. We need you to christen the boat. You did Omos just pop up and go, you got knocked the fuck out?
I hope so. All right, gentlemen, let's get into this weekend. The channel will be here live for a marathon show. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to run through. Now, I will remind people, AEW does have Collision, and they do have Battle of the Belts. I don't know why they put Battle of the Belts on this particular Saturday. It's an extremely busy Saturday in the wrestling world.
All the time.
They do it, right? It's almost like TNA's nothing, but they might feel this one. So, but let's get into Hard to Kill. I'm, again, super excited. Impact never, I would say rarely puts on a bad pay-per-view, and they put a lot of marbles in this basket, so I don't think it's going to disappoint. You guys ready for some predictions and some chit-chat?
Yeah.
All right, so the pre-show is going to kick off with Rich Swann, Steve Macklin, two former champs. How are we feeling about this?
I think this is a great way to show, and I've said this for almost every match, so this is going to be cliche, but I feel like this is a great way to show some of the old TNA fans, some of the new talent that's here to stay you know, in TNA. And I think using Steve Macklin, who I've said has like a Stone Cold vibe to him just a tad bit in his hardcore style. And then you got Rich Swann, who's just like the comedic relief some of the time, and then has his serious moments. I think these two right here kicking off the countdown show is perfect to show the fans, hey, we're here, and these are the two guys that you guys need to look at in 2024.
You nailed it right on the head, though, KJ, with even just introduction in the match of it's two former world champions kicking off your show. What more needs to be said of two guys that are, you know, can deliver at the top of this company, kicking off probably your biggest show in recent memory. If we're going right into predictions, I'm taking Macklin for this match just because I like Macklin a little bit more. That's all I got to go off of.
You bastard. No, I'm going to take Macklin as well for sure. I love this match. I think that both guys can bang. I think what Anthony said about Rich is, you know, kind of the happy-go-lucky guy until you get that ding-ding. There's definitely a serious side to him. Two former champs, but Macklin, I think as 2024, like, you know, he got his title. He dealt with some injury, you know, had some other things going on, but he will be in that title picture moving forward. He'll be a key, you know, pivotal guy in TNA moving forward. So I think Macklin's got this one.
Yeah, I think. Well, I guess since the camera's position, you pointed at Nick, so I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, I got Steve Macklin all over this. The Steve Macklin has this. He's walking out with the victory here.
Okay.
Now, side question though, and I don't know man's contract situation or anything like that. Any thought or any potential to he goes and joins wifey over in AEW?
I think he still has more to do in TNA before he jumps ship. I think Deonna Purrazzo had did all that she could, and she felt like it was time to go. So no, I don't see him jumping ship right away.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the fit there either. I'm worried that Macklin goes over there and just becomes another one of the guys where, to me, he's such a standout. I don't even want him to go back to WWE anytime soon. I like what he's done here, and I think this is a really good spot for him.
Fair enough. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Just thought it, had to throw it out there. I like the idea of Macklin with the potential new talent or that's coming in and the new talent that is already come in at the top of this card. And I like that Macklin, like you said, you didn't want him to go to WWE or AEW and just stay right here because he's pretty much made this. He's become the guy for the longest time in this company.
A top heel, a really good heel. You need good heels. And again, we'll talk about the main event and stuff as we move forward. But yeah, a guy definitely in that picture. There's a rivalry existing with Alexander. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep talent at TNA. They lose too many.
Exactly.
All right. The other match on the countdown show, a little bit of an interesting mix, but Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers taking on Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian.
I think, you know, you got the TNA originals, and I didn't even know that title was on their names, Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian, but you got the TNA originals against some of the new guys. Even though Eddie Edwards has been there, you know, a fairly long time, you got kind of the TNA originals versus some of the new guys. So I think this is great to be on the countdown show. Eric Young, top talent, same as Frankie Kazarian. Even though his feud with Eddie Edwards was terrible, every match he had with that man was top tier in 2023. So putting these guys together in a tag team match, I think is epic. For a winner, I'm gonna go with the TNA originals just because it's the return of TNA.
Yeah, Nick.
I was gonna say I couldn't have said it better. I mean, Eddie Edwards just for whatever reason doesn't do it for me. I don't get anything as to why he is where he is, I guess. But yeah, with it, the return of TNA 100%, you've got to get the resurrected EY and Kazarian to win here and get the happy-go-lucky vibes on the pre-show.
I think we're going to, I guess we'll just, you know.
Clean sweep
across the board on the pre-show. It really, again, with being what this show means for TNA, the relaunch, it's hard to imagine the OGs are going to lose. And again, I have trouble betting against Eric Young ever. I love the guy. I think he's great, Canadian. But Kazarian, Edwards, yeah, I laughed at their rivalry a lot because between the matches, it was awful. It was like paint drying. And then they had really crazy good matches. So a really funny time, but it should be fun. A good match. I don't imagine it's going to be, an overly long match, but yeah, I'm going to go with you guys and take Eric Young and Kazarian.
Fair enough.
Looks like we got a lot of Eric Young.
What's that?
I said, looks like we got a lot of Eric Young and Kazarian for this match.
Right. So let's see if we can find some matches we don't agree on, which this might not be.
This is going to be a hard one, respectfully. Who's taking Dirty Dango? Let's be honest. Let's cut to the chase here.
Well, Dango's got backup, but this is an interesting booking, and maybe Anthony, you can help me here. How did we get to Dango and PCO?
I don't know how we got here. I really feel like this match is one of those matches they just threw together on the pre-show, and it's weird because you can throw matches together in Impact or TNA at this point, and they deliver. But I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know why Dirty Dango is fighting PCO. It makes no sense at all to me.
Does anyone picture just PCO chasing this man around the arena the whole night? Like, it's not really in a match.
Scooby-Doo, Dango, where are you?
Now Dango has backup. I mean, he's got
so did fucking Scooby in the gang.
Yeah, I will not bet against PCO. I will not. The Canadian.
You can't.
No, can't do it. No, especially Dango, right? It's not like, he's going against fucking Macklin or somebody. It's Dango. I like Dango. I love what he's been doing, but it's a tough one.
Oh, nobody's going da 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 da.
And I think the chat pretty much feels the same way. Dirty Dango sounds like something you got to see a doctor about, or at least something you should wash off.
That's a slang term for something you might have to go see a doctor for sure. I got that dirty tango. I gotta go hit up the doctor. I gotta go to the hospital.
I'm gonna have to get that shot.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
all right. That one's pretty.
PCO was undead. How can you go against something that? How can you pick something that can't die to lose?
Right. And again, the guy. I mean, yeah. I think that's about all we need to say about that one. It's really hard to see PCO going under. This match is amazing. Pure Sabian, Kushida, Vikingo. And I have a funny question to ask after it. Not a funny one, but a curious question. But how do you guys feel about this one?
This match has it written that it could steal the show. All of these guys are incredible. Kushida, one of the newest signings in TNA. But I'm really excited for this triple threat match. I don't see Chris Sabin losing.
Oh, okay.
I don't see Chris Sabin losing. If he does lose, it's to Kushida, not Vikingo. But I'm gonna go with Chris Sabin here.
Okay.
I'm just for the sake of being difficult, I guess I'll take Kushida in this. But 100%, this reminds me of something that you'd see with the old X division. Of it was always something that would steal the show. Every pay-per-view, built guys like AJ Styles, etc., to now the status that they are. This 100%. If you like your flippy shit, this is your flippy shit match.
This is it.
Yeah, this is a strap-in, strap-on kind of match. I'm with you, Nick. Rumors about Sabin retiring have come up over the last couple of days, and actually came up in the chat last night as well. And I found that very interesting that as Chris Sabin, he's had a long run. I didn't feel like he was near retirement, but I mean, we all get to that point as you get older. How long can he continue to do the high level, especially X division stuff? He's had a great 2023. I am leaning towards Kushida to take the win. He just signed. Sabin's had a good run, but a handoff going into the new era.
I hadn't heard anything about Sabin retiring or anything like that. I was literally taking Kushida because I was just trying to be different for the first time so far tonight. I would have taken Sabin fully with this. And even if he does win it and say he wins it, and if he does retire with the belt or anything like that, if we had that happen, which I don't see likely, because to me, this man can still go just as good as he was when it was TNA the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with you.
So you haven't heard that at all, and like any whispers about that?
I have not. Like, you saying that was the first thing I've heard of it. So yeah, I definitely don't want to see that man retire.
No, I was really surprised. I saw it a couple times, and then I kind of ignored it as internet stuff. And then it came up. A couple people last night were like, heard this might happen. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Do him and Shelley have to retire together?
Maybe.
I almost weirdly kind of feels like that. It's kind of like, it'd be weird if well, not the same fully, but like if Matt retired and Jeff was still going, or vice versa. But I feel like if like Saban retired and Shelley was still going, it kind of feel, not to take anything away from either one, but it's like they're so connected at the hip.
Yeah, the Motor City Machine Guns have been a team for so long. It's like the only way I can see them like retiring together is they have one tag team match, they win the titles, and they go off on the sunset. That's similar to what like Trish Stratus did when she won the women's championship and then retired the same night. I think
they have a match against each other.
Interesting.
That too. Yeah.
A double knockout, and they just all right.
Seriously.
No, yeah, it's possible. I could definitely see that scenario, and they would tear it down. But yeah, I don't know. I just think they just signed Kushida. Kushida's been good for Impact leading into this. I'm going to take Marty McFly. I got to.
A side question: is this a benefit or a detraction for Vikingo that this isn't a 6-sided ring now, with it being TNA? Because I'm worried that this man might try and hit, the same spot about 4 times and not be able to hit it the first 3.
Oh. Yeah, and I think both of all of us hesitate to pick Vikingo just because of his obligations elsewhere. But I mean, he's going to be a fun element to this match. Hold on tight.
When he's on point, he's on point. When he's off point, though, he's really off point.
Right. All right. This is the match I'm the most excited about, and it came in last minute. But Josh Alexander versus Alexander Hammerstein,
Hammerstone, Steiner's son.
Yeah, I got all mixed up with my gimmick joke, but yeah, guys, this is going to be a banger.
Someone said to me on TikTok when I was trying to give my breakdown of this, whole match, and I don't know much about Alex Hammerstone, but someone said it's Hulk Hogan if he could wrestle. And I was like, now I kind of have to see this. I know what Josh Alexander is capable of, and I know what he can do.
Yep.
If this man is literally Hulk Hogan but can wrestle 10 times better, this is going to be something special to see and hard hitting. I want to choose Josh Alexander. But I don't think I can choose Josh Alexander. I got to go with Alex Hammerstone here. Just the pure size of this guy alone, just in this picture, is like, I'm sorry, Josh Alexander, but he's taking it this time.
It's so funny that you said that, Anthony, because for the longest time, anytime Hammerstone's been brought up, I just constantly go into when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. I for 100% thought this man was going to WWE, and he still might. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the big signee and everything. I think it might still be a little bit of a letdown if it was, but it's still not detracting from how big of a match this is. Like you said, KJ, this is the match I'm looking forward to. This is the match that I think should steal the show. We were just talking about the kind of X Division match, how that could steal the show. This one should steal the show. This is your top guy, your best in the world under your brand, Josh Alexander, taking on Alex Hammerstone, who, granted, not your casual WWE fans may know or anything like that, but has 100% proven himself outside of the kind of big 3. And I think this is going to be his introduction to a lot of wrestling fans. But with that being said, I am taking Josh Alexander.
Oh, wow. Listen, Hammerstone's a beast. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 broken ankles he wrestled on against Jacob Fatu. I know I think he broke his 1 ankle and hurt a bunch of other things in a series of matches, but he wrestled, like, finished a match with a broken ankle and then was out for a while. That's the type of guy you're dealing with here, of like, I could still go, right? Like,
he Kota Ibushi'd himself.
Yeah, well, yeah, not totally. But
he's like a superhuman at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, but he put out a really long, well-written, like, semi-essay about, like, thank you, Josh Alexander, for waking me up, and like, he's ready for this. Like, I think, Nick, you said it really well. Like, this feels like a bit of a coming out party for Hammerstone, who's been kind of tucked away with MLW and some of the indies. I hate to say it, I can't go against Josh Alexander. I really can't. But man, this is a coin toss. I got to go with the Canadian weapon. I think I'm 3 for 3 on Canadians right now. But, right, a little bias. But Hammerstone is a monster, a beast, and if he has any intention of staying with TNA, this would be a huge win and a huge statement win for him.
Oh, this 100% could go either way. I just kind of figured they'd go Josh, maybe because it is the reintroduction of TNA, and you can still come back. And now Hammerstone still got a bit more of that chase, but you could establish Hammerstone, especially if he's signed there, of he's now one of your instant top guys if he comes in, goes over Josh Alexander. And it's Hammerstone's been one of those guys of, like you said, tucked away in MLW. If you know, you know, much like a Jacob Fatu to an extent, except he doesn't have any famous cousins. So this is really going to be his first match on a bigger stage, or at least be able to be viewed by a bigger audience. So this is going to be two, again, big beefy boys who are superstars just going to town on each other. Pause on all of that statement, by the way.
Right.
I think as we continue to go through these predictions, it's very hard to not pick the original TNA person, you know, the original TNA wrestler. And I want to pick Josh Alexander. I really do. But I just, when I saw that man, I was like, I don't think he's taking this.
He doesn't look like a guy that takes L's.
Exactly. He just takes out anybody that's in his path.
Yeah. Just, no, that's funny. This, a couple of comments before we get to the next one, but Kyle wants to know if, Anthony, if you see the 6-sided ring being introduced.
I've seen a lot of some of the wrestlers in TNA say they want to do a one-night 6-sided ring show. I think that bring one of the wrestlers that's very outspoken about it is Jordan Grace. And I think if they bring that back one night, you know, it would be good for the wrestlers. I really think, and it'd be good for the fans who want to see it back. I just hope that the 6-sided ring this time around is better on their bodies. But if they do bring it back for one night, you know, that's great. I want to see it.
Oh, 100%. Well, they're known for doing, wrestling at this point is known for doing theme kind of pay-per-views and everything. So if they just did a theme pay-per-view of like TNA Classic or something like that, like how they used to do Lethal Lockdown, where every match was a cage match. Every match is in a 6-sided ring. There you go. There's your kind of War Games or whatever. That's your gimmick pay-per-view that you can run up the flagpole.
I never thought of it as a one-night only thing. I knew they were going to stay away from it as a standard thing, but that idea of like a one night only, like the old school throwback night, like I think that's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. See money, Hammerstone rules. The 24-inch pythons are going to run wild over walking weapon, brother. I don't even know let me tell you something, Mean Gene. That's one big.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Yeah, there you go. Me and the beefer are hanging and bagging.
What you gonna do, brother, when the Hammerstone run wild on you, Canada?
Big Dog. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, it's all Japan. It's old school Japan. Hogan could wrestle. Vince didn't want him to be a wrestler. He wanted him to be a sports entertainer.
I question anything that has ever come out of the mouth of Terry Bollea. This man thought that because he crossed international time zones, he added days into a fucking year. No, if you can't do basic math, fuck off.
But no, I think it's funny when you see like the old film of like this big giant Hulk Hogan doing drop toe holds and arm drags and fucking sunset flips. It blows your mind.
Hey, and I didn't say that Hulk Hogan could wrestle. It was the fan in my comments that said it. So, you know.
We'll say wrestle better then. We'll appease everybody.
There you go. No, he's definitely a much better wrestler. There's undeniable. I think
no Mickey 5 moves of doom with that man.
Right. I think Mickey comes back if all this does. I don't know what all is doing now. Big news with Mickey as she signs with OVW in 3 roles in a big way. So that should really help OVW's direction.
It's
Yeah,
amazing what a
I think
Netflix documentary can do for somebody.
right. I think OVW is trying to make moves and make a name for themselves in 2024, especially as signing Mickey James to do a lot of the work for the women's division. So
I agree. All right. Let's get to the next one, and I'll click on some other chat messages as we roll through. But the women's Ultimate X, Tasha Steeles, Alicia Edwards, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Zaya Brookside, and Danny Luna. So some old names, some new names. This one's hard to pick, my friends.
this one is very hard to pick. You got Tasha Steeles, who won the first one. And she could do it all over again. She's the greatest that beat the greatest, because she won that X Division Ultimate X match, and then she went on to beat Mickey James, a couple of months later. So you got Tasha Steeles, you got Alicia Edwards, who I'm a big fan of, and I hope they push her a little bit more in 2024. Giselle Shaw is definitely a future Knockouts champion. Jody Threat, I feel like with Jody Threat, you have to like her because she has the F5 as a finisher. Just plain and simple.
Or is it the diverticulitis? Is it the F5 or is it the diverticulitis?
And then I'm not sure about Zaya Brookside. I've never seen her wrestle before, so this would be interesting to see for me. And then Danny Luna, one of the newest signings to the Knockouts division, I think can bring a lot to this match. And she had an excellent match with Jordan Grace at Turning Point, I believe. I can't choose here. I think I could choose better if Kylan King was in this. I feel like she kind of got left out of this match. But I don't know who to choose here. I really don't.
I'm gonna take Danny Luna. Honestly, it's so interesting to follow Anthony up with all of this, because like man's just saying it perfectly, and I'm like, I just need to give a prediction now. Man just summed up everything perfectly. Literally, he broke everybody down 100%. Yeah, I like that we're even seeing a Ultimate X match for the women 100%. And that this doesn't have anybody that's a clear-cut runaway favorite here. That you've got, a top star with a bunch of kind of lower mid-card people or anything like that. This is pretty much almost a breakout match right here.
Yeah.
Right. Even this is kind of I guess I don't know how to pronounce this word, but like a re-intervention for Tasha Steeles, I guess you can say, and that's not the right word, but we haven't reintroduction. That's the word. We have
allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Shaw.
We haven't seen
get out of my head.
We haven't seen Tasha Steeles in months, basically. So let's reintroduce Tasha Steeles to the TNA, fans of the TNA universe.
She would be 100% my 1A, 1B pick.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually going to take Alicia Edwards, and
what the
fuck? I'm not taking a Torontonian at that.
I was going to say, everybody's been talking this whole time about how you don't take anyone who's not Canadian. If there's a Canadian in the match, KJ's taking them, so you just count that out.
Well, I guess when the odds are spread out, then I feel less guilty about it. So. Who is Zaya Brookside? Zaya Brookside, did she not have a stint in NXT? Did she not sniff around?
And then one, I believe.
Yeah, okay. I believe so. But I just think I give Alicia Edwards a hard time because she's a pain in the ass and I hate seeing her, which means she's probably doing her job, right? But that probably means she's doing her job really well, right? She's done well as being a heel. I think she might steal this and kind of have that so I'm leaning Alicia on this one.
With this being an Ultimate X match, you see her shimmying across that high wire and everything, that whole thing. You got a little bit taken to this.
I feel like she might just be standing under and catch it like someone else.
Otis is it? You're taking an Otis spot. Pop fly.
Right, I feel like she jumps on Giselle's shoulders or something and grabs it. I don't know. This one is it really is a crapshoot on this one.
I want to be different and say Jody Threat. I really want to be different, but
What the
I'm
fuck
with
is
you,
happening?
KJ. I'm with you, KJ, with Alicia Edwards. I just feel like I've been watching some of the old 2022 episodes and seeing her have a face-to-face with her husband in the middle of the ring after he joined Honor No More, and how she handled herself gracefully in a ring full of men and did it well. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is what she needs to finally be pushed in that top spot. So I'm gonna go with Alicia Edwards here.
The only other person that I really think like is real close, just because she's been such a good soldier, is Giselle Shaw. I
Yeah.
feel like she's put a lot of people over and hasn't really got her flowers. Like she's gone under to Deanna, to Trinity, to you name them. She's done the job. She's been an absolute trooper for this company. This could maybe be her moment, but I'm still going Alicia.
I'd take Danny Luna as choice number one. Tosh Steele would be my number two, and Giselle Shaw, like you were just talking about, would be my number three. I'm still surprised you still haven't tried to even attempt to take Jody Threat there, Captain Canada.
I like. I don't. It's. She's good. Well, again,
you pop every time she's on the screen, and now you have the choice to pick her to win a match, and you're like, nope, you can have that.
Yeah, you can have that. I don't think she winning. I don't know why. I don't see her winning. Maybe I'll eat my words on Saturday.
Side question that I just thought of: could we potentially see someone gets taken out of this match before they're supposed to come out or anything like that? And do we have any debuts, returns outside of the big announcement, any sort of pop-ups in a match, in between matches or anything? Because I think there could be the potential of, say, one Dana Brooke showing up in Impact and being involved in the Impact Knockouts division. And I mean, it'd be a little bit interesting to see her up there, shimmying across the Ultimate X, but maybe she pops into this match here.
Do you think she could cartwheel along the X?
I
mean, she's a fitness chick, so I mean, respectfully, she should probably be able to do it.
I hate you, Nick, for saying that. Now I hate you, because it's like the only reason why I'm saying that is because the person they would take out of this match if they did an injury angle is Alicia Edwards.
Oh, how so? How so? Explain. Catch us up.
Yeah. Alicia Edwards, in all honesty, is probably one of the weakest out of the other 5 women.
Facts.
So they do an injury angle with Alicia Edwards, and it's a surprise. It's going to be Alicia Edwards. It's not going to be anybody else out of those 6 women. It's going to be Alicia.
Wow.
And I hate that. And I hate Nick for saying that.
So when that happens, you know where you heard it first. But Ishmael, shout out for the super chat for $5. Can't wait to see Jon Moxley live. Shout out.
That'd be amazing. Where are you going to do that? I'm curious.
Right. But so your thoughts on what I've already gotten one person hating me on this panel. Let's see if I can get 2. I can go 2 for 2 here.
Well, what makes me nervous about that idea is my pick is the one that's probably going to get axed. So possibly, I mean, I think if someone like Dana, and we'll talk about, we got the women's title match coming up, and they may be needing to look for someone to take the place of somebody that might not be there anymore.
Fair enough.
That might be the fit. I don't know. The way they kind of rolled this one out, I think we might end up being with this group. But you never know. You never know. It could just be because of the nature of the match. There could be a new person that comes in and just interferes to fuck up someone else's chance to win the title. Or win the match. So that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. With you bringing up the women's world title match and all of that 100% makes just as much sense. So you're not wrong with that at all. That's very much valid point.
Yeah. Maybe it's Sasha. We'll talk about that. All right, let's move on. This one was a good one. A stacked tag match. ABC, the Rascals, the Grizzled Young Vets are back, and Mike Bailey and Trent Seven for the gold.
I really wanted it to be ABC versus the Rascals. I really wanted them to just straight up. But all of these teams are great. And after seeing Mike Bailey and Trent Seven at Final Resolution, I was hoping they would become a tag team in 2024, and it seems like that's what they're giving us. I'm not going with ABC to retain. I think Mike Bailey and Trent Seven are going to win. I really do think that.
I think
I don't know why, but I think it's gonna happen.
spicy meatball. I like that one. Mr. Ninja.
I'm going Grizzly Young Veterans
I knew
here.
you were.
I think they are the best tag team out of these four, respectfully. They're one of the best tag teams doing it. I think WWE completely fumbled the bag with them, with
Definitely.
having them be in the schism, the word, dyad and all of that. So it would be an incredible get for Impact TNA. No, sorry, to have the Grizzly Young Veterans on their roster, their weekly shows, running their tag division, 100%, and it adds some new blood. Like you mentioned, you really wanted to see ABC and the Rascals. I feel like we've probably seen that match a couple of times already.
We have.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd rather inject some new blood. You're not wrong with it being potentially Mike Bailey and Trent Seven because, again, new blood. I'm just a bigger fan, I guess, of the Grizzly Young Vets, so I want them to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know officially how. Like, has there been much word on the Grizzled Young Vets sticking around after Hard to Kill?
I haven't heard much, but they've also TNA has had those times to where they've kind of there's been no real show of extension or anything like that with Hammerstone or anything. So very much, I seems like TNA is kind of a little bit of a fluidity moment right now.
Okay, I'm going to take the Rascals because I like the Rascals. And again, ABC is going to be hard for them to retain. You guys took the other two challengers. I'll take the Rascals. Just again, I could see them kind of continuing into 2024 real strong. I don't know exactly how I feel about them as heels yet. At times they're a little more irritating than good, but I'll just take the Rascals to be difficult.
Well, and ABC very much could win this match. Let's be honest with this, because they've very much, especially over last year, established themselves as one of the best tag teams doing it in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Is there any thought to ABC kind of breaking up at some point, and these two gentlemen like Bay and Ace kind of getting their own, going back to their singles runs?
I don't see it happening, at least right now. I think TNA, they have a great tag team division in actual wrestling, but they don't have a stable tag team division. That's same with the knockouts as well. So I think they need some people to stick around as tag teams. So I think ABC will stick around for a bit.
Yeah, your division, I wouldn't say is strong enough that you can afford to break up your biggest tag team right now. You're not wrong in that could happen down the road, because 100% they're both fantastic as singles wrestlers as well. But right now, you need to maybe if a Grizzly Young Vets, a Mike Bailey and Trent Seven, and maybe another team or two on top of the Rascals kind of really start to rise to the top of that division, maybe then they can kind of slowly dip back, and then that's when they split apart.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. Should be a hell of a match, though. We talk about, we've said it a couple times of like this match could steal the show. This is another one that could steal the show. We could be talking about this, months from now, because it's got a lot of potential, a lot of talent. It's gonna bang.
We've said that 3 or 4 times now, and we're not even at the main event, so it's going to be a goddamn stack card.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's next on the docket? Speaking of some main events, Trinity Fatu and Jordan Grace. I like this one, man.
I want Trinity to retain. I want Trinity to stay with TNA, and I do believe Trinity is re-signing at Hard to Kill. All bold predictions. I think Trinity is at the top of her game. I think she's had the best year in wrestling amongst women in 2023. Someone said it online, which makes sense. They said the women's division in WWE has a lot of talent and a lot of them are not being used. I feel that if Trinity goes back to WWE under Triple H, it's going to be the same thing. I really do believe it. I think her best bet is to stay with TNA, continue this awesome run. And one thing that's been very suspicious about Trinity since this news drops, she has been very quiet. I think today was her first tweet since January 1st.
Nice.
And that was with the reveal of the titles. Bold prediction, she's staying in TNA and she's retaining that Hard to Kill.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Anthony, you know I love you, right?
I do.
Jordan Grace is winning this match. Jordan Grace is winning this match, and then we'll see Trinity in the Royal Rumble, I feel. I beg the question of what women's talent in WWE right now isn't getting used. I would say WWE right now has the best women's division. So I think 100% Trinity could show up there and be in a main event role, in a top tier, or in a main event of a pay-per-view, I'll say that, or top tier of a pay-per-view, and would be on the WrestleMania card. So I don't think she'd go in there and get lost in the spot, lost in the shuffle or anything like that, especially when she's been getting all of this attention outside of WWE. So now her stock has done nothing but rise and increase. So it'd be a much bigger thing when she shows up at the Royal Rumble than it's just, oh, it's Naomi. So I think she loses this match. She goes back over to WWE. I know you don't want that to happen, so that's why I want to remind you. I love you. I care about you. But I think we're going to start to see, again, like we said, a lot of the TNA originals kind of win matches here. We're also seeing a lot of changeover, changing of the guard. They're going in a direction here. They have a plan where they're going, and I think Trinity's kind of wasn't going to be here for a long time. She was here for a good time.
A few people said, Anthony was a little got the chat stirring a little bit with Nick there of like,
I'm sorry,
will be nice.
I don't see Triple H treating Trinity any better. I really don't.
So name me some women that are right now not getting used on the roster. Sorry.
One of them, which had a great showing with Becky Lynch, was Xia Li. She had that one match, had that nice little feud, and then she disappeared. I mean, that's one. And I thought, I'm a big fan of Xia Li, so I thought this is going to be it for Xia Li. They're going to push her, maybe not into the title picture just yet, but they're going to push her. She's going to be on TV more. It hasn't happened. The only thing I can see happening with Trinity is she coming back in a time where we don't have Charlotte Flair. She's out until SummerSlam, maybe a little bit after. We don't have Alexa Bliss. There is people on the injury reserve list. I think she'll be used correctly until some of those people come back, especially Charlotte Flair.
So you're telling me right now, if you put Naomi on SmackDown, that she couldn't jump the line right to instantly going for Io Sky?
But I think she could, but is he going to pull the trigger? That's my concern. Like, I think she would be definitely put right in the picture, but are you going to give her that opportunity? Are you going to pull the trigger?
They've done it with Nia Jax.
Yeah, I know that's different.
I think how many people really thought they were going to come back and
win the Royal Rumble? If Nia Jax doesn't win the Royal Rumble, everything Nia Jax has built in the past 5 months is gone. What are they going to do with her going into WrestleMania if she doesn't win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, and I think there is a level of, Trinity at the top of this pile, big fish, small pond, where, again, it is a bit of a shuffle game in the WWE, and you are fighting for minutes. And, again, you have so much going on already with, Bayley and Damage Control and all the potential angles there. Does Trinity just jump right to the top of that line? I find it. I think I'm torn here, but I get both of your arguments.
I do get both sides.
Definitely, like I said, it's valid arguments.
I definitely get where Nick's coming from. I just don't feel like it's gonna happen right away. I feel like Trinity will be used to build the tag team division.
Tag team
is a gamble, but I think what she's established on outside of WWE has built up enough credentials with that, because honestly, if you're not going to, if you haven't done enough now to establish your spot over there, then you aren't. So I think that sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. That was good. Finish.
No, I just think she's proved herself. Like, she was what, top 2, top 3 on a Sports Illustrated list. She's getting talked about in major publications outside of just, you know, Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer and, you know, Pro Wrestling Illustrated and shit like that. People have very much drawn attention to, and that's why Anthony's so passionate about her being over there. But I think now is the time to capitalize on all of that. Now is to when you put your fucking chips in at the table and you cash out.
Not a bad argument at all. But see, I remember last year for Hard to Kill, and I was convinced that Mickey was going to lose. And instead, she showed up the Rumble with the belt. And with all the buzz going on right now, I'm going to take a flyer and kind of go with Trinity retains, but is still at the Rumble.
Just going straight down the middle of the road.
True.
Back to you, Anthony.
No, I think there. I know I'm very passionate about Trinity. I've been a fan of her since her time when NXT was that freaking game show, you know. So it's like
you were a Funkadactyl?
Exactly. So it's like seeing her being utilized right now. It's hard for me to be like, go back to WWE and see what they can do. It's very hard for me knowing that she was there for 10 years and they basically did nothing with her. And I know it was under Vince McMahon, but still, she was there for a very, very long time. And but she had
sometimes
that.
I'm a neon peacock, and you got to let me fly.
I know, and it definitely could.
Chelsea Green's getting used. Piper Niven's getting used. Tegan Knox is getting used.
It could be everything you said. It could. But I just don't know. I see Boston Gamer down here basically said he disagrees with me when it comes to Nia Jax, and I'm just like, but who does Nia Jax face if she doesn't win the Royal Rumble? Like, if she doesn't win the Royal Rumble, is not in the Elimination Chamber, what does she do at WrestleMania after building the past 5 months? You know,
I don't think she's going to win the Rumble, so we will find out.
What she does specifically at Mania is one thing. You can not be in a big match or anything like that at Mania and still not, still have a storyline going outside of it. But
I think it just kind of kills her momentum, especially when she beats Becky Lynch clean, not an interference, not a nothing. And it's just like, I don't know.
But can we say that was probably the best match of her career? And we've now seen the best Nia Jax. And so I know I might, respectfully, ladies, I love a thicker than a Snickers girl, but the Monday Night Raw division for the women has kind of become the Haas division. So you're going to have, more powerhouse women in that division. Not everyone can be champion at the same time, but as Nia Jax still there and still relevant, yes.
Anthony, true or false, you love Trinity more than your own hat?
I probably do.
He named his hat Trinity. We just did.
Right. Trinity to join the bloodline. Interesting. Yeah, man, I'm so torn on this one. This is tough.
It's tough. It definitely
is tough as hell.
I love the discussion. This has been the best match to talk about.
Yeah, man, this is good. We all didn't, kind of go the same way or pick a Canadian.
You drove like a Canadian, just straight down the middle of the fucking road.
Well, I haven't really, because I think that realistically, I think Jordynne Grace will carry this division forward. I think she will be the face of the Knockouts division for the bulk of 2024. I think there's a small part of me that thinks that maybe they could do the fast one and Trinity is a part of the Royal Rumble as the Knockouts champion, but then goes back. But ultimately, I'm going to take Jordynne Grace takes the win. And we'll see what happens for Trinity moving forward. But
I do have to admit, I did say months ago when Jordynne Grace beat Deonna Purrazzo, she needed that to run the Knockouts division because she had never pinned Deonna Purrazzo in any of their former matchups. So if this is the time for Jordynne Grace to step up and finally take that crown that I'm running this, Knockouts division, Hard to Kill is it.
Well, we're picking against the former Impact world champion, not just the women's champion.
Are we?
Jordynne Grace.
Was she the world champion?
She won the world title at one point.
Did she? She was the
digital. I know she was digital media champion.
Never mind. I'm stupid.
Now, again, if there are a lot of rumors about what Sasha's doing, that could be tied to this Trinity situation as well, guys. So one way or the other, Anthony either gets his way on the 13th, or I get my way on the 20th.
I expect tears,
27th,
Anthony. If
28th.
Trinity wins and Mercedes shows up, I expect tears.
I say Trinity and Sasha come back and reform Team Bad with Nia Jax. Oh,
Yeah, where's Tamina? No one meaner than Tamina.
right. There you go. I haven't seen Tamina in a hot minute. Last time we saw her, she was in the parking lot with Punk, which sounds horrible. And last but not least on this card, and then we'll talk about some peripheral ideas for Hard to Kill. But the main event of the show, Alex Shelley and Moose for the title. How does this go down?
I think Moose actually picks up the victory. I haven't really been a fan of Alex Shelley's reign. I'm gonna just be perfectly honest. His matches have been great though. He's had some great matches. I think there was that one point, when we were doing the watch alongs, I said that it was like Alex Shelley was angry for no reason because it seemed like all of a sudden he was angry at the world. Why are you so angry? But I think Moose really pulls this off. I don't have too much to say about this match, but I think if you're going to pit someone to be the head of TNA for the next couple of months as it changes, you got to give Moose that title. Alex Shelley is great as well. He's an original, but I'm trying not to go with a TNA original for this one, so I'm gonna go with Moose.
I agree with you fully. Moose wins this one, and I think part of why you haven't been a fan of Alex Shelley's reign is because he's been sidelined with injury for most of it. I feel
that's true.
That's really been a lot of already taped matches that they've just re-aired as he's been on the sideline. So I don't know where he's actually, if he's back to 100%, if he's coming in at like 80% or anything like that. But yeah, Moose is your dominant champion. You're top of the mountain going forward with the start of brand new TNA.
Yeah, and there's some good baby face. Do I get accused of keeping to my Canadian bias if I pick Moose?
Is Moose Canadian, or is it just because people associate Moose with Canada?
Right? Am I cheat? Like, is it just being stereotypical here?
It's not caribou, so you're fine.
Caribou, we're more. I think Moose are more us. But we got both. Yeah, Moose. I think there's good baby faces. If Josh Alexander goes over Hammerstone, or even if he doesn't, and maybe it's Hammerstone. But again, Moose is another OG, an outstanding talent. He will have a really solid run as we start the new era. I see him walking out like the first TNA show with the suit on, looking all proper with the bell on his shoulder. I agree with you both.
What's the next TNA pay-per-view after this one? Do we know yet?
I think it's No Surrender.
Yeah.
I think it's No Surrender.
And I could see that main evented by Hammerstone versus Moose for the TNA World title.
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I know. Keep in mind they're filming Snake Eyes the day after Hard to Kill, which will air on their weekly show, which includes Osprey and Vikingo and a list of other stack names that they'll spread out over the Okada.
Right.
So yeah, no rest for the wicked. Pay-per-view fight, TNA Plus, app, DAZN. I guess we're just listing off all the places we can find them. There you go. Thank you, AJ. All right, folks. Now, before we get on to the next card or the next show, which I think will take less time, to be 100% honest, any big surprises, any big twists, anything that you're anticipating, hoping for, expect from
Well, who's the big signee?
Who's the big signee?
I'm still banking on Mercedes, but I don't know. Over the past couple of days, I thought it could be Dolph Ziggler. I do feel like Dolph Ziggler a tiny bit would be a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm still leaning on Mercedes. If not, she'll be at the Royal Rumble. But I did hear one thing today which kind of piqued my interest just a tad bit. I don't know if you guys follow Jared from bodyslam.net on Twitter, but he said that MK Ultra defends their tag team titles against the Bella Twins at Hard to Kill.
Shut the front door.
And I was like, what? Like,
no, God, please, no.
I like the Bella Twins. They're not the best athletes or the best wrestlers. I just like them as a whole because they're great entertainers, I would just say. But that kind of was like, maybe that could happen. I know they're both interested in getting back in the ring. Bree has been very outspoken about it. So I don't know. I don't think there'll be a big signing, but they could be a potential signing.
I hope not. I hope not. Respectfully, I'm going to say that as respectfully as I can. I hope not.
That would be insane.
I feel, unfortunately, I think you're going to go a little bit bankrupt, I guess, banking on Mercedes Moné. I think it might honestly be Prince Ali, Mustafa Ali. I think, but I mean, we thought Ziggler was going to be it, and I think he's shown the splash that he made showing up in New Japan. So, and we saw the excitement of Ali's whole world tour and everything. So, I think he would be a welcomed addition to the Impact roster. I think you do have to keep in mind how big of a budget are they going to use on this signee and everything. This isn't, respectfully, Endeavor TKO money. This isn't Jacksonville Jaguars money. So,
yeah, it's a tough one, man. Like you are kind of trying to find that pocket, but we also know that they were throwing money at the names like Will Ospreay. Like they might not have landed Ospreay, but they were definitely trying to get in the conversation. Maybe they do have some money sitting back there going, "Fuck, who do we swing at?" I think it's going to be someone that we really don't expect, and Ali's not bad. I think there's going to be an influx of faces. I said before, I feel like the comment about worlds colliding, I feel like it might be a collection of people, not just one. Like I think it might be like
a whole faction shows up.
Yeah, like we're gonna do aces and eights, run it back, TNA style, but like an invasion type thing. Maybe it is a Dana Brooke. And a mix of people. Maybe it is Ali. Maybe it is Elias. Was another one I was playing with. Like, what's Elias up to?
Can we just admit that if it's not Mercedes right now, the free agent pool outside of, unless we're going to announce it's even a Hammerstone still, I think falls into that next tier. If it's not Mercedes, is there a free agent out there that could fit that bill that's available that isn't that next tier down? I feel of a Ziggler, a Mustafa Ali, a Dana Brooke, a Hammerstone. That's that. Who else is a free agent that has that same star as Mercedes or close?
I literally cannot think of anybody
Right?
else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you wanted to put Dolph Ziggler in that category, you could, but I honestly do not see Dolph Ziggler being bigger than Mercedes Moné, and I think she's kind of in her own tier. So I have to agree with you, Nick. I don't think there's anybody. I really don't. If it's not Mercedes Moné, it's something that it has to be somebody that's been kept quiet and no one knows about, that it's up there on that same level as Mercedes.
Okada?
Yeah. What?
Okada?
What's
his contract looking like?
I thought he signed with did Okada not sign?
I don't think Okada has signed.